There is no leader, no plan, no single animal that knows where the herd is going or why. And yet, every year, without fail, over 1.5 million wildebeest rise together and begin to walk. They will cross rivers filled with crocodiles the length of cars. They will walk straight into prides of lions that have been waiting for them. 250,000 of them will not survive the year. This is not a race with a finish line. It is a circle, one that has repeated itself season after season for longer than any human civilization has existed. This is the Great Migration, and this is why it happens. To understand the migration, forget the idea of a journey from point A to point B. It's a circle, roughly 800 kilometers around, moving through 2 countries and one continuous ecosystem: the Serengeti in Tanzania and the Masai Mara in Kenya. And the herd doesn't move because it wants to. It moves because the grass tells it to. Short grass plains in the southern Serengeti are covered in volcanic ash from the Ngorongoro highlands, soil so mineral-rich that when the rains come, the grass that grows there is more nutritious than almost anywhere else in Africa. Wildebeest instinctively follow that nutrition. When the rain stops and the southern plains dry out, the herd turns north, chasing the storms toward Kenya. There's no evidence they can see rain from a distance. The leading theory, backed by field researchers, is that they smell it, the moisture, and possibly the change in air pressure that comes before a storm from dozens of kilometers away. Between January and March, on those short grass plains of the southern Serengeti, something remarkable happens. In a window of just a few weeks, roughly 500,000 wildebeest calves are born. It's not staggered. It's synchronized. Almost the entire herd gives birth within the same few-week window. Scientists believe this is a survival strategy. When every predator in the region has more prey than it can possibly eat, statistically, more calves survive. A newborn wildebeest can stand within minutes and run with the herd within a day. It has to. The plains they're born on offer almost nowhere to hide. No trees, no rock outcrops, nothing but flat horizon in every direction. Speed is the only defense a calf has. Even so, calves are the easiest meal on the plains, and predators know it. This is the beginning of a pattern that will define the entire migration. For every stage of this journey, something is waiting. By July, the herd has moved north, out of Tanzania and toward Kenya's Masai Mara. Between them and the fresh grass on the other side lies the single most dangerous obstacle in the entire migration: the Mara River. Wildebeest are not natural swimmers. The river can run high and fast, with currents strong enough to sweep an adult off its feet. And underneath the surface, some of the largest Nile crocodiles in Africa, animals that can live over 50 years and grow past 5 meters, have been waiting, sometimes for months, for exactly this moment. Herds can stand at the water's edge for hours, even days, building up pressure from behind before a single animal finally jumps, and the rest follow in a chaotic, cascading rush. It's estimated that thousands of wildebeest drown or are taken by crocodiles at river crossings each year. Not from every crossing, but across the season as a whole. The ones who make it emerge on the other side, soaked, exhausted, and immediately grazing again as if nothing happened. Because there will be another river. There is always another river.
It's tempting to think of the migration as one long chase. It isn't. Most of the time, predators and prey exist side by side in an almost businesslike truce. Lions resting in the shade while wildebeest graze 50 meters away, because a lion that isn't hungry right now isn't a threat right now. But the migration is also what keeps East Africa's predator populations alive. The Serengeti's lion population, among the largest concentrations of lions on the planet, depends directly on the seasonal abundance the migration brings. So do hyenas, cheetahs, and leopards. And the relationship runs both ways. Wildebeest, in enormous numbers, graze grasslands down to a specific height, which prevents wildfires, recycles nutrients back into the soil through their waste, and creates the exact grazing conditions that zebra, gazelle, and other herbivores need to follow behind them. That's why you rarely see wildebeest alone. Zebra often travel at the front of mixed herds. They have sharper, long-distance eyesight and can spot danger earlier, while wildebeest have a stronger sense of smell that can detect water and fresh grass from farther away. It isn't cooperation in the way we'd describe a partnership, but it works, and it has worked for thousands of years. This cycle has repeated for an estimated 1 to 2 million years. But researchers and wildlife authorities are increasingly warning that the conditions that make it possible are changing. Climate models for East Africa point to more erratic rainfall, the very signal the herd depends on to know when and where to move. Land conversion around the migration's traditional corridors, from farming and settlement expansion outside protected park boundaries, is shrinking the space available for the herd to move freely between Tanzania and Kenya. And upstream water use along tributaries that feed the Mara River has, in some years, reduced flow enough to raise concern among conservation researchers about the river's long-term reliability. There's also an economic dimension worth being honest about. Wildlife tourism tied to the migration is a major source of revenue for both Tanzania and Kenya, supporting park budgets, conservation funding, and local employment in the surrounding communities. That gives both governments a direct financial incentive to protect the migration corridor, which is one of the more encouraging forces working in the herd's favor. But incentive is not the same as guarantee. Conservationists are clear that the corridor's protection depends on continued cross-border cooperation between Tanzania and Kenya, sustained anti-poaching enforcement, and managing development pressure at the ecosystem's edges, none of which are settled questions. No single wildebeest could survive this journey alone. No single animal understands the whole of it, the rain patterns, the river crossings, the calving grounds, the circle itself. And yet the herd endures, not because any one of them is strong enough, but because none of them ever stop moving. They will reach the Mara. They will turn south again. They will give birth on the same plains their mothers were born on. And next year, they will do it again. This is the Great Migration, not a journey with a destination, but proof that survival sometimes is simply a matter of never stopping.